As it is the court, my lord. My lord, at the adjournment, was called by Mr. Mnube, who indicated to me that there were certain utterances that were made by the current testifying witness to all the accused that are seated there. And in fact, all of them are confirming that I heard him. So I said to them, in the interest of justice, I'm going to let this be known by the court, and that it will be best if it comes from them.
What utterances are those?
They said something like when he stood up and went outside, he looked at them and pointed at them and said, "Azibosho izinja," or something like that. But as I'm saying, it will be best if that comes from them, my lord, because I might try to paraphrase them, might not be accurate. It's best if it comes from them.
No, you must say it, not them.
As I'm saying, my lord, they said that as he stood up and went out of the courtroom, he looked at them, he made a certain gesture, he pointed at them and said to them, looking at them, "Aziboshwe izinja." So they requested us to convey this message to the court, my lord. What the court does about it, I don't know. But that's the message, my lord, that they requested me to convey to the court. Thank you, my lord. Thank you.
Mr.
Madlala.
Yes. Yeah, let's keep the proceedings decent. I know tempers may flare up, but let's control ourselves. We are all adults and we just want to behave as such. Okay.
Thank you. Understood, my lord?
As a court pleases. We were on photo 65 of Exhibit D, and we were demonstrating where the deceased was lying and how he was lying. Yes, you may proceed from there.
Ubusazama-ke ukugcwebela nje umfanekiso ukuthi umufi ubelele kanjani lapha phansi. Sisebenzisa-ke lesi sithombe photo 65. Uyakhumbula?
Yeah, ngiyakhumbula.
Yes, I remember that. Ngaqhubeka-ke. Busasho ukuthi ubelele njani? Ngicela uqale lapha.
Ubelele ngathulele ngesayidi, ngathulele kanje.
He had lied down like that on the side, and the witness is actually demonstrating the left hand side of the body,
Yeah.
as though facing a little up as well. Uthe imilenze.
Inyawo zakhe zazingalanga ngasekhapethini le. Ikhapini carpet lapha then kusho la kungala ngasesofeni phakathi kwesofa ne-stand lese-TV.
So the legs were on the carpet. There is a carpet there or a mat just next to the couch. The torso of the body was in between the couch and the stand, while the legs were lying on the mat there that is depicted on the picture.
Yes, thank you. You referred to the carpet shown on the picture.
Yeah, no, inyawo zakhe zazimamangala because kwalimamala la kumzimba wakhe because mangifika kuye bekunembowane encane la nasuvalweni la.
No, that is where the legs were on the mat there. And then at that very spot between the couch and the TV stand, it was the body, or the torso. Because when I got to him, I noticed a smaller hole or puncture. And I should think
Yeah, exactly.
just at the just alongside the sternum, just alongside the sternum, on the chest,
Yes.
left hand side of the chest, closer to the sternum.
Yes, may I proceed?
Ngiyaqhubeka.
Le mangifika kuyena ngafika nami ngiyakhala la sekunabanye abantu ke nala endlini.
When I got to him, I also was crying, and there were other people also that had come inside of the house.
It's just a minute. Yeah, and how was the deceased clad on the day?
Umufi begqoke kanjani ngalelo langa?
Bagqoke isikibha esi-white ngumlahle nejini.
So I remember well, he was wearing a white t-shirt and a pair of jeans,
Namateke ngathi wephuma amhlophe ngathi made nje.
white ankle boot kind of a tacky. It was a Puma white ankle boot kind of a tacky.
And you say he had that small wound that you described. What was the position regarding that wound?
Uthi bengathi unenxebanyana encane lapha.
Yeah, bekumbobanyana la isikibheni sakhe la kunembobanyana la.
On the t-shirt there was a small hole, and the witness is pointing on the chest again, the initial spot that he had pointed at.
Phansi kunamadoti kunegazi but kungalona nje kunamadothinyana nje
Phansi
egazi.
kuphi?
Phansi la lelikhona.
Now, at the spot where he was lying, there were some stains of blood that looked like sprinkled onto the floor.
And the t-shirt itself, what was the position?
I
Any
t-shirt,
stains on the t-shirt?
I t-shirt yona binjani?
Benginembobanyana but kungenani igazi nje ligcwele belingagcwele la t-shirtini igazi but belikhonanyana but belingagcwele igazi la.
There wasn't
Khona la ngasembobeni nje.
there wasn't blood all over the t-shirt. There was just a stain right there at that particular spot or that hole. Then there was the stain of blood right there.
Yes, you may proceed.
Ngiyaqhubeka.
Day after ke sazama ukuthi simbambe senzo simfaka emotweni.
Thereafter, we made attempts to carry Senzo and load him into the vehicle.
Just a minute. You say other people also came into the house. Who were these people?
Uthi nabanye abantu besebekhona okanye bebekhona lapha endlini. Obantu labo bantu okhuluma ngabo.
Akekho umuntu engimaziyo kulabo abantu babe lapha endlini. Akekho umuntu engimaziyo ngathi ngampointa ngithi lo even namanje akekho ngathi lo ubani but babekhona nje abantu I think nawo makhelwana abanye but akekho engimaziyo nje ukuthi lo uba igama lakhe.
None of those people were known to me. I would think that even the neighbors were also there, but I couldn't identify any of the people to be known to me, or perhaps by their names, but there were people in the house.
Yes.
Sazama kumqubula because wayesindi umzimba wakhe wayesindi because ngangifaka izandla ngingemva kwakhe nje ngisifake la ngemuva kanje.
No, we tried to pick him up, to carry him, and he was heavy. I remember that he was quite heavy. I was standing behind him and had my arms underneath his armpits. So I carried him from behind.
Yes, Mkosi.
Ngiyaqhubeka.
Angikakhumbuli ukuthi ubani because imoto yayipake kuleli site elingale mawungena nje egate-ini. Ipake kulelo site mawungena ungena nje straight ipake ngala. So yaye kwamele ukuthi reverse imoto ize kuleli site elingala. Lo donga leli libhalwe ngamagama amhlophe ya reverse ayeza ngala.
No.
So mawuphuma ekitchen ukuze uphumele kuyo kanje.
Regarding the position of the vehicle, initially that vehicle was parked along the driveway straight into the yard. And that vehicle then had to be reversed or driven so that it is parked between the wall and that is the wall, which is a hedge, and as well as the house.
No, yayipake la phambidlana kunalokho kodwa. So mayise sihlehla yahlehla yamala because thina besiphuma ngala esadini lasekitchen.
Yeah. Okay. Now it had to be parked next to that wall that had got some white writing on it. Now it had to be driven from that spot where it is now at, or rather because it was parked inside, right, deeper into the yard. It had to be driven so that it is parked between that wall, which is forming a hedge of that yard, and as well as the wall of the house, which is now painted with white or written in white. It had to be parked there.
If photo
3 of exhibit
D can be shown to you,
Yeah.
and then photo 4.
That's baby photo 4.
Yeah.
A bit by way of people.
Photo 4.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Photo 4. Yes.
Yeah, so imoto yayisipake la.
This is the spot where the vehicle was now parked. And the witness is now pointing at the opening between the wall of the house and as well as the hedge or the fence.
Yes.
So sazama ukumqubula akusenza simqubule simfaka emotweni ngemuva.
Now, we then put some efforts to carry Senzo so that we go and load him into the back seat of the vehicle.
Yes.
Amasifike emotweni ngimdonse because bengaphakathi mina bengidonsa ngaphakathi sangena wahlala like wangena ikhanda laba ngamina on left emuva ngiyasemuva laba la ngaka left kumina because inyawo zasezingangeni sayigoqa kanje inyawo because wayilele ikhanda ngala inyawo zizindi sagoqa inyawo.
Now, I'm the one that got into the vehicle first and pulled him into the vehicle. That is towards the left-hand side of the vehicle, at the rear seat of that car. Now, the legs were hanging out, and then we had to fold the legs so that he's able to fit to the rear seat of the car. And his head was now on my side.
Yes. And where were you seated?
Wena uhleli kuphi?
Ngihleli esidini la left ngasesicabheni lesi sika left ngemuva.
I was sitting at the rear left-hand side, that is next to the left-hand door, the rear left-hand door of the vehicle.
Yes.
Then masekuthi eceleni kwami kube umthokozisi.
Eceleni kwakho
Right, yes.
Now, on my right, it was Mthokozisi that was seated there.
khale right ngasesicabheni bese kukhona kwakhona bani uZandi ya kwakhona uZandi ngesicabha saka right because asibayi 3 ngemuva ku driver
against the rear right hand door, there was Zandi seated there. If I'm not mistaken, it was Zandi that was seated there.
then umuntu driver uKelly.
And the person that was driving was Kelly.
Just a minute. Now, just before we move off from this aspect, how was the deceased carried to the car? Did you carry him all the way? Did you take brief stops, or what was the position?
Ukumqubula kwenu nimsemotweni, ngena vele namqubula kanye namfaka namsemotweni. Beniloko mhlambe nithi uphumula kancane ube ucutshulwe kanjani?
Asiyanga straight emotweni because njengisho ukuthi besinda nje usenzo. Asivelanga sambamba one way wahamba sasamfaka emotweni. Bengelula ukwenza lokho because besinda usenzo.
We didn't straight away went to the vehicle and loaded him into the vehicle. As I have already indicated, Senzo was heavy, so we didn't do that. We didn't just pick him up and went straight to the vehicle and put him. That's not how it happened.
Yes, just describe how did you do that?
Sitsheleke ukuthi nenze njani.
Engikukhumbulayo because masendlini basimbamba bekuyimi umthobo angimazi noma umfana wayekhona naye lapha khona. Nabanye abantu babekhona nje.
What I remember, inside of the house as we were picking him up, it was myself, Togo, and some young men. There were other people that were unknown to me as well.
Yes.
So bengekho ukuthi simbambe one isizomfaka emotweni because ubesinda.
It was actually difficult or impossible for us to can just at one attempt pick him up and take him straight into the vehicle because he was heavy.
Yeah. So what did you do?
Nenze njani ke?
Mangasakhumbuli kahle but asimbambanga nje straight samisa emotweni straight.
No, even though I cannot remember, we didn't just pick him up at once and took him to the vehicle.
Because kwesinye isikhathi ngikhumbula ngimase singasefuni nangasemnyango khona la samakhona futhi ngasemnyango before siphumele ngaphandle emnyango.
I remember there was a stage where we actually paused a bit at the door before we could exit entirely.
Which door?
Before we could exit the house.
Lo wase kitchen before siphumele ngaphandle kitchen.
Yeah, I'm referring to the kitchen door before we could exit to the outside through the kitchen door.
Nangaphandle futhi asivelanga nje sangena because bekunzima ukumfaka because nami mawungena emotweni ngene no2 ngena mina kuqala so that ngizokwazi ukumdonsa kule side leli sithi ngimbamba ngimdonsa ngala ngimfakela izandla ngaphansi kwamakwa.
Even outside, when we were about to load him onto the vehicle, it was difficult for a person to just at once load him into the vehicle. When we got there, I was the first person to have gone inside of the vehicle. So it should have been just one person that goes inside. And thereafter attempts are made to load him into the car.
Yes, you may proceed.
Then mase simfakile emotweni wa driver okay ngikhumbula wa driver ngespeed nje I think namahamsinyana kule ndawo amancane nje akubona lamahamsa amakhulu.
After we had put him inside of the vehicle, I remember Kelly was driving and she was driving at a high speed. There were humps there, even though they were not really that big humps. They were flatter humps, but she was driving at a high speed.
Because uZandi ngikhumbula ngoba uZandi waze wamkhuza ethi hayiboke uzosigenqa phela usukudriver kanje.
Now I remember there was a time that Zandi also cautioned her that you will roll us over with this vehicle. Do not drive at such a high speed.
Yes.
Engikhumbula sakwenye isibhedlela or private isibhedlela lesi I think isibhedlela isibhedlela mangasi clinic. But igama la ibothilongo ngiyakhumbula.
Now what I also remember is that we took him to could it be a private hospital, a clinic, or a hospital, but I remember that the name of that facility was Butsilong.
Yes.
Masifika lapha safuna i-stretch.
When we got there, we asked for a stretcher.
then baletha ke stretcher
And then they brought the stretcher.
wangeniswa ngaphakathi salinda la kunendaweni amabhentshi nje mawungena lapha enamabhentshi ngala emasayidini mawungena esibhedlela salinda
Thereafter, he
khona.
was taken into the premises and inside of that facility. And then we waited. There's just a waiting area there that's got some benches or seats. And we waited there.
Yes.
Emva kwesikhashana nje kushuthi engenisiwe ngaphakathi usenzo angazi kuma kakheli wayesefike nini because ngambone selapha nje ukuthi wafika kanjani angazi.
After a while that Senzo was taken in, I just saw Kelly's mother was also there. As to how she got there, I don't know.
Yes.
Then emva kwaloko kwaqhamuka kushuthi emva kwesikhashanyana nje sesifikile kwaqhamuka omunye I think udokotela nomnesi wesifazane khumula kahle wayephethe isithombe se-x-ray ngisandla.
Now, after a while of our arrival there, then came a health worker there. It could have been a doctor or a nurse, but it was a female being. And she was having a printout of the x-ray, something of that nature.
Yes.
Kushuthi wacela umuntu omdala ke.
And she requested for an elderly person.
Yes.
So ngabona nami ngavele ngifike ngasivele ukufikela ukubona nje ukuthi lo muntu besicela umuntu omdala nje kushuthi uphethe indaba ezimbi ne.
Now, I also presumed that, given the fact that she came and needed an elder here, this could mean bad news.
Then why umakakheli ke.
Then Kelly's mother went.
After that ngabona umakakheli sekhala ke nami ke sekhala nje. Kuba sekhala wonke umuntu la ngaphakathi.
Thereafter, I saw Kelly's mother then crying, and everybody else was also crying. Because everybody was crying, I also cried.
Yes.
Emva kwaloko ngacela mina ukuthi ngiyekeni usenzo ngiyobumbona ne.
Thereafter, I asked for permission to go see him, to go see Senzo.
Ngokuthi saya kubona sayakuyena usenzo because wayemboziwe sayakuyena sibaningi ne because kwakukhona babe khona nje nabanye abantu lapha ngaza lo makhelwane labasebekhona kwakukhona nabanye abantu nje kwasekugcwala impela because kwasekuqala ukufika nabadlali bebhola ngeemoto.
Well, there was a stage where everyone else that was there went, in fact, that was there for Senzo, went to Senzo at the time that Senzo was now entirely covered. There were also soccer players that were there. I should think the neighbors were also there. There were quite a group of people that had gone to Senzo at some stage.
So emva kwaloko ngicela ukuthi ngiye mina kuyeda ngiyokhuluma naye.
Now, after all that, I then asked for permission that I should go there alone to go and speak to him by myself.
Because base ngihlalise kwenye indawo nje umunye unesi wayengikhelela amanzi ngihlalise kwenye indawo engala inosink khona ngaphakathi lapha I think ikitchenyana labo lapho.
Now there's I should think it was a kitchen, a little room where I was seated at, and I was given water. It was one health worker or a nurse, and I was seated in there.
So ngaphindela kuye usenzo.
I went back to Senzo.
First thing engayenza ngamvula.
When I got to him, I unveiled him.
Yes.
Khumbula kahle into engambuza yona oqala ngambuza ukuthi kanti ungibizeleni la ngibizele lento ukuthi uzongibonisa lento.
Remember, the first thing that I actually asked him was, in an actual fact, why did you call me? Is this the reason why you called me? You called me to witness this thing?
ngithe ngisakhuluma naye kwaqhamuka uKelly
As I was busy talking to him, then came Kelly.
wamkhipha iwashi ngala esandleni saka left
She then took off the watch, the wrist watch, from the left hand.
Yes.
emva kwaloko afika labo nesi ke befuna ukusikhipha la ngaphakathi ne bethi asibuyele ngale then ngamqabuza esiphongweni ngamvala ke ngasabuyela ngala because bengikhala ngaleso sikhathi
Then came the nurses and they said that we should go back to the initial spot of our waiting. And I then kissed him on the forehead, then covered him or veiled him again. And I started crying.
Yes.
sekusenjalo nje kusanesixaxa sekugcwele la I think bese kufike no Mandisa
Now there was a stage where everyone was there and the place was now crowded. I should think Mandisa and them had also arrived.
because bese kunabadlali bebhola I think bonke babesuka lapha epathini
Now
bese base belana phakathi la
there were also soccer players. I should think all of them were coming from that party, given the fact that now all of them were here.
Yes. And for record purposes, which party are you referring to?
Sikhuluma ngayiphi party?
iphathi leya ebesoya kuyo vele engangibiza ukuthi siye kuyo leya mama ukuthi bese saningini
The party that we were initially supposed to have gone to, I'm referring to the Mahamudza party that was in Sunning Hill.
Yes.
Malo ngabona sekune-fight khona la ngase-reception la sekune-fight sekugcwele abantu sekuyabanjwana khona la I think between Mandisa namangani bakhe noKelly ngala
Now, thereafter, I witnessed a fight that was taking place now, right there at that spot where a lot of people were at. I should think it was Mandisa together with her friends and Kelly this side.
Yes.
because ngabona sekunaney'nwele phansi bekubanjwana nje ngabona sekunaney'nwele la phansi
Some pieces of hair was also, I witnessed that some pieces of hair on the floor. I should think, they were grabbing and pulling at each other's hairs.
Yes.
then emva kwesikhathi sekubasuka esibhedlela kwahanjwa ke
And after a while, we took off from the hospital.
but mina angingenanga kule moto le ababehamba ngayo okay I think kunomunye umama angimazi kwagama lakhe lo mama wangakhe ngangena kuyena because wayeleke ngikhulumisa nje naye ngikhambathi ngagcina ngingena emotini yakhe
But I didn't
nasibuyele
go.
emuva
When we were now going back, I didn't get into the vehicle that actually took us to the hospital. There's a lady that was, holding or trying to talk to me, was trying, to have a conversation with me, in whose vehicle I had gotten into or embarked into.
Yes.
sabuyele endlini ke la endlini khona kubuka Kelly la kwenze khona isigameko
We went back to Kelly's home where the incident transpired.
Yes.
masibuyele endlini sithole sekunamaphoyisa sekugcwele nje sekufakwe namathepha ayelo
Upon our arrival there, we found the police officers were there, and the area had been, cordoned off with the yellow tapes.
I just want to show you photo one of the exhibit C. You can use the photo to illustrate your evidence.
Ungasebenzisa lesi sithombe ke.
Yes, yiwo lawo amathiphu ayesifakile lawo ayela amathiphu lawo asifakwa amaphoyisa.
These are the tapes that had been put by the police there.
Yes.
Bese kunamaphoyisa nje sekucela because ngikhumbula omunye wamaphoyisa wangibiza ebile ekhuluma nami ebhala nje ngimchazela kunjani because kwakunanomunye umfundisi futhi wangithatha wangise ekamereni wangithandazela la angazi ukuthi wakuphi kodwa wangise ekamereni wangithandazela ngana ukuthi wayiqhamuka kuphi lo mfundisi.
Yeah. Now there were police also. There was a lot of police officers that were there, and they were asking me questions and writing down as I was busy, reacting to those questions. I remember also there was a reverend there that was there as well. He took me into the bedroom and he went to pray for me. I don't know where was he coming from.
Just a minute. Now, you refer to the fact that you were in the bedroom. When you came back from the hospital, did you enter the house?
Uma niqhamuka esibhedlela nina ngena endlini.
Yeah, before kwenzeke yonke leyo nto sengiyakhumbula bekunalesigqoko phansi nama-crushes because ngabuza ukuthi ngingathatha yini bathi angiwashiye kanjalo ungaqali ngiwathatha.
Now, before everything happened, I remember that there was some crutches on the floor and a hat. And I inquired, can I take these crutches now? They said, no, I should leave them there. But why?
Bathi ngaqali ngiwathathe. Yes.
And they said, no, don't pick them up as yet. Don't pick them up as yet.
Just a minute. Now, where did you see these items?
Uye wayibona kuphi lezi zinto ama-crutches zona lezo khuluma ngazo uye wayibona kuphi?
Bezikhona phansi ekitchen mawungena nje la phansi ekitchen.
But they were inside of the kitchen, just on the floor there. As you enter the kitchen, there they were down on the floor.
Just want to show you exhibit 4, 5, 6 of exhibit C. Starting with exhibit, photo 5. Yes, you can use photo 5 of exhibit C to illustrate your evidence.
Yeah.
Ukusibonisa lezi zinto okhuluma ngazo.
Yeah, isona isigqoko lesinawo ne-crutch le.
Now, this is the head that I'm referring to. A light was shown on the head that is depicted on this picture. And these are the crutches that I was referring to. And also a light was shown on the crutch.
Now, this crutch, you say you wanted to take the crutch. Was that your crutch?
Yes.
Yes, it was my crutch.
And the head?
And then isigqoko.
Could you recognize the head?
Yeah, isigqoko iso leso besigqokwe lo muntu onama-dread lesi.
This is the very head that was worn by this person that had dreadlocks.
Yes, you may proceed.
Ngaqhubeka.
Is there anything else that you noticed there in the kitchen?
Ngabe khona okuthize owaqaphela khona lapho e-kitchen?
Eish. Hayi akukho kunye ngicabanga ukuthi ngiyacabanga ngakunotice.
No,
Wow.
no, there isn't any item that I could have further observed in the kitchen there.
Yes. You may proceed to say there was someone trying to comfort you in the bedroom. What happened further?
Uthi khona umuntu obezama ukukududuza kamerweni. Kwenzakalani?
Wangithandazela nje lo baba lo cause ngangikhala.
Because I was crying during that time, and that man prayed for me.
Ngangikhala. Cause kwakusuku lami ngangifika ngaleyo date and ngifika sekuzokwenzeka into kanje.
Because that was my first day of arrival, and upon my arrival, this is the incident that transpired. So I was crying.
No. In which bedroom were you at that stage?
Obo ngakuyiphi bedroom?
But I think iyo le ngakule side le la ngangikuyona ne. I think ile ngala eceleni kwakhona. I think ile ngala eceleni kwakhona if I'm not mistaken.
Eceleni kwaleyo.
Le ngabale ngena kuye. I think ile ngala eceleni kwa.
I think it is the one next to the one that I had initially ran into.
Yes.
Noma ngasakhumbuli kahle, mangasiyo le ile, noma ngasakhumbuli kahle, mangasiyo le. I think ile.
Albeit that I may not be remembering. If it is not that one there, it is the other one next to it.
For nesime ngisona ngasengasekho right.
Because I also was not emotionally well or psychologically well.
Yes.
Emva kwesikhashanyana nje after sebethabe bhalile ke labamphutha la ngangikhuluma nawo sathathwa sa escortwa saya eMalbathini.
Now, after a while, after they had taken the statements or had questioned me and I answered, then we were taken to Malbatin.
Just a minute.
Amaphoyisa anthatha ngisale khona.
Yeah,
The police took us to Malbatin.
cause ngikhumbula nje I think kwakungibhm emhlophe.
I remember it was
Kwanomunye umuntu oyikhala, iphoyisa lalikhala vila I think iphoyisa oyayikhala.
I remember it was a white BMW, and then there also was a colored police officer.
Now, did you have a cell phone on that day?
When I opened a cell phone, ngalelo langa.
Yes, ndikhona.
Yes.
Sekhona i-S3 mina emhlophe ya ngakhumbula.
X3.
S3 mina emhlophe. Yeah, iSamsung.
It was Samsung S3, a white one in color, that I was in possession of.
Now, did anything happen to your phone on that day? When, let's put it to you this way, when you were escorted to Malbatin, did you still have that phone?
Mani escortaniswa eMalbatin when busayiphethe phone yakho.
Hayi bengingasayiphethe sengilibele bayithatha bayifaka amaplastiki abawasila.
I was no longer in possession of that cell phone. They took it and they put it in some plastic bag that was sealed.
Because khona nenye izinto abasenza zona besithatha amathe nangisakhumbula okunyama kodwa nje namanje babesithatha besikhamisisa besithatha namathe and stuff.
Now, there was also some swabbing which was done in a mouth. They were taking the saliva samples.
Now, was it only your phone that the police took on the day, on the night?
Phone yakho yonke yathathwa ngaleyo suku.
Angikhumbuli angazi kwabanye because yami yathathelwa futhi ngisemnyango ngakulona le side leli moto epake ngakulona khathi sifa kusenje yathathelwa ngilapho because umuntu angikhuluma naye silapho ngasemnyango.
Now, I don't know pertaining the others. Mine was taken at a time that I was talking to this particular person and we were standing close to the door.
Now side leli ngala leli bhalu spaza
Now that side that is written Spaza. were standing there when my phone was actually taken from me.
At what stage was it? Was the
Bekuningi.
phone taken from you?
Bekuni-United.
bese kuseyintata cause bese sibuyile
Futhi bekwenzakalani mayithatha? It was in the early-
babefunani khona babathi nje bazocela ukuthi bathathe ifoni yami bese beyangichecka nani nani ba-check ezinye izinto ngathi mina ayikho inkinga baqhubeka benza leyo process yabo then after yona-ke kwahlala kancane then kwasekuyiwa emalibhathini.
I don't know what were they actually doing, because they said that they have to, to take my cell phone, and there were other things that were done to me as well. And thereafter, after a while, we were then taken to Malbatin. And then earlier on, the witness indicated that it was now in the early hours of the morning or the dawn of the day.
Akusiyintata.
Yes, you may proceed.
Saye emalibhathini-ke masifike emalibhathini
We proceeded to Malbatin, and upon arrival there,
And just for record purposes, who stayed there at Malbatin?
ubani behlala eMalbatin?
Oh, before nje sifike la masibuye esibhedlela asibuyanga nomthoko because wayengekho la asibuyanga namthokozisi.
Now, before we get to that
wayengekho umthoko masibuye esibhedlela.
I forgot to say that before we get to that point, Mtogo was not there upon our return from the hospital.
Yes.
Umthoko I think khona abafowethu nje khona because khona engamuzwa nje ethi amthokozi benisahlalele indaba kusho ukuthi wahamba nabanye abantu abaziyo ababelapha ephathini ababefikile la esibhedlela azange sabuyela la kwenzeke khona le incident wahamba nalabantu la.
Now there were some of my brothers that were saying, and then where did you delay at? Where were you? It appears that when we came back from the hospital, he never went back to the scene of the incident. Looks like he was in the company of those guys instead of going to where the scene had actually taken place. Or rather, where the incident took place, sorry.
Yes, you may proceed. And just for a quick, who was staying at Malbatin? Where did you go to?
Ubani behlala eMalbatin?
Behlala uKhill nayo Senzo.
Kelly and Senzo were residing there.
Yes.
So emalibhathini I think ukuthi angisakhumula wafika amaphoyisa kodwa lapha.
Well, I cannot remember clearly, but I remember that the police arrived at Malbatin.
When?
Nene.
I think it's the following day ebusuku kodwa ntambama kwase kumnyamanyana because mawungena emalibhathini angeke ungene fanele uqale i-security lifonele la uzoya khona.
Now, I think it was the following day. It could have been in the evening or late in the afternoon.
If I'm not mistaken. So
For one to access, that estate, you have to start at the security guard, who will then, connect you with the person that you have to go and visit there.
Yes. Now, did you then spend the night there at Malbatin?
Nachitha ubusuku bonke khona laphana eMalbatin.
yeah ngahlala khona ubusuku bonke.
Yes, I spent the whole night there.
Who else spent the night there at Malbatin?
Omunye futhi ke owachitha ubusuku bonke khona laphana eMalbatin ubani?
Umuntu engimkhumulayo uMangakheli because amabhedroom ayi-2 lapho uMangakheli imina uKheli noZandi nabantu engibakhumbulayo abalala endlini.
The people that were there, it was Kelly's mother, Kelly, Zandi, and myself. Because that house has got 2 bedrooms.
So bebekhona abanye abantu ababuye bafike baphinde bahambe bafike ngiyakhumbula khona bebekhona abantu ababefike khona lapha.
I remember there were several people that would then arrive and then leave again.
Because naye lo mfana ngaThiko uke wafika khona khona lapha
Khona Malberton.
yes no Chico
Even-
na uke wafika na
Even Chico's son also arrived there at Malberton, and Chico himself also arrived at Malberton.
Yes.
Mhm.
The surname just plays the surname on record.
Ungasitshela ngamasenimi?
uChico Twala naye longwethala
Chico Twala as well as Longwe Twala.
And when did you get to know Longest name?
Uqale nini ukulazi igama likaLongwe?
angilazi ngalesikhathi besanda kufika nje because ngambuza uSenzo ukuthi ubani uqhamuke sehlala phansi nje
Now, I came to know his name at the time of his first arrival there. Because upon his arrival, I questioned Senzo, who is this that just comes here and just sits down?
Yes, may I proceed?
Ungaqhubeka.
so kule party amaphoyisa afika I think uKelly mabemfonela wanqaba ukuthi angene watshela ama security ukuthi abangangeni
Where the police part is concerned, when Kelly was phone called for the police to access her premises, she refused. She told the
It's fine,
the
you may not
guards-
disclose
Yeah.
what she said. Now, when was this incident?
Lokho kwenzakala nini?
noma ngenayo like ishow yosuku exactly but after seyenzekile le incident
I may not be sure about the particular day, but that was after the incident had taken place.
But was it the same night, the following day? What was it?
I think it's the following day if I'm not mistaken
Could be the following day.
because ziningi
if
into
I'm not
ezenzeka
mistaken.
umuntu wabuye waya nasechipi or kuphi ewenza eyokhomba
Yes.
la yes
Because there's quite a number of things that happened after that. Because one of those was to go to GP at the identification parade, to come and, or to go and identify there.
We'll get to that. Let's take one step at a time.
Singasheshi nje sithi imatter.
Right. What happened the day after the incident? This incident that you refer to when the police arrived, when did that happen?
Le okhuluma ngayo lesi sigaba okhuluma ngaso ukuthi kwafika amaphoyisa kona ke okwanini kwenzakala nini?
I think the following day after the incident yeah.
That was the following day. I think the following day after the incident transpired.
Yes.
Saya police station eFort Lawrence
We even went to Fort Lawrence police station
for ukuyokwenza i-statement
to furnish the statements.
Just a minute. And when did that happen?
Lokho kwenzeka nini?
kwenzeka ngalolu suku olulandela because bafika bezosilanda betha sambe ngemoto yabo no?
No, it happened the following day because they came with their vehicles to come and fetch us, and they said that we should go with them.
If you say they, who are you referring to?
amaphoyisa
I'm referring to the police officers.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, what time did they fetch you, more or less?
Bakhetha ngobani isikhathi mhlawumbe? No,
eyi angisasikhumbuli kahle isikhathi can't be sure ngesikhathi
bekungaba nini mhlawumbe? So
mini yasekuseni lapho nje
maybe in the morning towards midday or in the day, just around the time. I can no longer remember the time.
isikhathi exactly yeah.
Yes, and what happened at the police station?
Kwenzakalani at police station?
safike sabuza nje sabhalisa i-statement after that basisa kwenye i-room la esasesiyodweba khona-ke
Now, when we go to the police station, we provided or furnished the police with the statements, and from then on, we were taken into a room where we were going to, draw some pictures.
Pictures of what?
Beniyodweba in
alamantu abangena endlini
of the people that got into the house.
Yes.
Yebo.
And who was in charge of that exercise?
Ngubani ke obehola leyo lokunjani leso senzo?
Ukhona nje omunye umlungu yana.
There's one white person, if I remember clearly. I think there was one white person
Owayesindisa lezo.
who was conducting that.
Yes.
Then sachaza kumuntu ayichaza leyo nto ayibonile akubayibonile kulowo muntu nomuntu yes.
Then we would give a description of what each person saw on the people that were supposed to provide the description of.
Yes. What happened after that?
Kwenzakalani khona?
Cha masesiqedile sabuyela emuva futhi eMalbertine.
Once we were done, we went back to Malberton.
Angisakhumbuli ukuthi inini la sesiyakhona ijeep la sesiyokwenza sesiyokhomba khona la ukuthi abantu bame ngaphakathi eglasini uyakhomba ukuthi suspect number kwakuyimina umjoko uKelly uZandi.
Now, I cannot remember at which stage that we went to GP to go and do or to be a part of the identification parade, where you would, one would be able to see people on the other side of the glass. It was myself, Mtogo, Kelly, and
khona
Zandi.
nomunye usise ngamazi ayikhona ngimazi.
There's another lady as well who also attended the ID parade.
Yena wayengayilokhomba I think umngani wazona nabo Kelly.
Yeah, but she hadn't gone to identify. She only was in the company. She's a friend to Kelly and them.
Yes. And what happened during that occasion?
Kwenzakalani khona lapho kule senzo zakho?
Babesifake emarumini angafani.
We were put into various rooms or different rooms.
Yes.
So mabekubizile uyakongena thola ngabantu abamile ngale glassini bayo 10 or 11 10 or 9 babe baningi nje kodwa.
If they call your name, then you go into that room, and on the other side of the glass, there will be a lineup of a number of 10 people, more or less. Yeah.
Babe baningi nje
There
kodwa.
were quite a number of them. They were numerous.
Then mase bayachazela ukuthi lema bengale labantu abakuboni wena nje kungala.
And then they would then explain to you that since you are on the side of the room, those people that are on the other side of the glasses, they don't see you.
So if ubona umuntu owena usula ukuthi bekhona ungampointa out or uyisebenzisa ifone ngoba kunefone futhi nangala eceleni.
Now, if you see somebody that you think is the person that you have seen at the scene of the incident, you can point that person out. And also there was a phone or a phone set that a person could use that was just on the side.
Just a minute. Yes, you may proceed.
Ungaqhubeka.
So saqeda ukwenza leyo nto but mina kuyona ID parade akekho umuntu mhlambe ngathi ngamkhomba because angibonanga umuntu kuleyo ID parade.
Then we were done with the ID parade, and but myself, I did not see any person that I could recognize who were on the lineup of that ID parade.
Yes. Were the photos taken of the parade?
Iy'thombe zathathwa mhlawumbe zaleyo khomba parade
Ezakabani zami.
with my
The process, the whole process.
kuyo yonke leyo ngqubo kwaba nje ney'thombe ey'thathwayo lapho.
Ayangikhumbuli.
I do not remember. I
Yes.
do not remember.
Then what happened
kwase kwenzakalani?
after the ID parade.
Then masesiqedile-ke sonke because wonke umuntu esuka la kuleyo room ayekuyona. Masesiqedile sonke sabuye sahlangana kwahanjwa-ke.
Now, once we were done, all of us gathered together at the same spot again because each person would be taken into their room during the process of the ID parade. But once we were done, we all gathered at the same spot and then we took off.
Just a moment. The ID parade form has been handed up as Exhibit E, as well as the photos. Which indicates the date on which the parade took place, which is on paragraph 4. Can you just indicate the date on which the ID parade form took place?
Masibhekelana ku paragraph 4 sibuke ukuthi i-ID parade le iyenzeka ngoluphi usuku okanye ngayiphi date. Uyakhona ukuyibona i-date la? Yes, I can see the date here.
Yes, what is the date?
Ingakhi?
2014 enyangeni yesi-10 mhla 29.
It is the 29th of the 10th month, year 2014.
Yes, then what happened after the identification parade?
Kwenzakalani ke emva kwe ID parade?
I think kwakwana le issue yamafoni because amafoni ayingasemaphoyiseni.
Then there was an issue that relates to the cell phones because the police were now in the possession of the cell phones.
Yes.
Because okay wayefaka ipressure emaphoyiseni because wayefuna ifo amafoni abuye because nami ngangifuna yami ngangifuna ukuthi ngibuyele emuva. So mangengigoduke without ifoni yami.
And Kelly as well was pressurizing the police pertaining her cell phone. Even myself as well, I couldn't leave and go back home without my cell phone.
Yes.
Noma ngasalikhumbula usuku abasinika ngawo but bawabuyisa bona amafoni.
Even though I cannot remember the day on which they brought back our cell phones, the fact is they eventually brought them back.
Yes. Proceed.
So after that ngicabanga ukuthi umusa uMandla kunomuntu umfethu akuthiwa uMandla igama lakhe. Wahamba ngemoto eCrossfire ngimazi khona lapha ukusukulana uqala umbona ngambona ingakenzi eMalbatini ngakayenzeke yonke lento eyenzakalile. So ngimazi lapho ke.
Now there's a brother of mine called Mandisa who is driving a Crossfire vehicle, and I came to know him even before the incident transpired, right there at Malbatin.
Uyena umuntu wagcina sengikhapha lo because wanginika imali ukuthi ngibuyele emuva. Wanginika 500 rand ukuthi ngibuyele emuva.
This is the very person that accompanied me or drove me halfway because he also gave me about 500 rand so that I can travel back home.
Just a minute. Now, do you remember which day was it? How long after the incident?
Uyakhumbula bekuluphi usuku?
I think lesine. If lesine because wangisusa khona wangisa erank straight eJoza ngise rank straight eGoli ngagibela iquantum khona lapha eGoli.
Usuku lwesine emva kwesigameko noma ngolwesine
eviki usuku wevikini lekwakulesine evikini.
I remember it was the Thursday of the week, and that he is the very person that took me to the taxi rank.
we'll get to that just a minute. Now, before you went away, before this particular Thursday, did you see Mr. Mtokozi Zitwala in that week?
Uye wambona yini angokuthi uhambe khona kulelo viki
Yeah.
Mthokozi Sithole.
Yeah, wafika eMalbatini ehamba no Sifiso Meyiwa.
He did arrive at Malbaton and he was in the company of Sifiso Meyiwa.
And who's Sifiso Meyiwa?
Sifiso Meyiwa Obani,
Ubhuti kaSenzo umdala ngase.
it is the elder brother to Senzo.
What is his other name?
Elinye igama lakhe ubani?
Sifiso Stanley Meyiwa.
Sifiso Stanley Meyiwa.
Do you perhaps remember when they arrived there at Malbaton?
Uyakhumbula mhlambe bafika ngobani isikhathi bane eMalbaton? Amanini?
I think between Tuesday and Wednesday, lelo viki lelo. Phakathi kwalezo insuku zoyi-2.
Between Tuesday and Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah, lapho.
Between those 2 days, because I cannot clearly remember.
Do you know why they came to Malbaton?
Uyakwazi ukuthi isizathu esenza ukuthi beze laphana eMalbaton kwaba yisiphi?
I think kwakuzofuna impahla zasenzo including ID nje.
I think that was about getting Senzo's clothing items and as well as the ID book and the likes.
Now, you testify that when you wanted to take your crutch, you were told not to touch it.
Uyakhumbula wakusho lokho ukuthi ubufuna ukuthatha le crutch but ungayithinti.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
Now, when you went back home the Thursday, what was the position regarding your crutch or crutches?
Maso so phindele ekhaya ngolesine.
Yeah,
Ama-crutch.
ayisekhona bayabuyisa because ngikhumbula mangikhashwa ule mfethu uMandla ngase ayisekhona amakhashi base bewabuyisile ngaya eDurban now.
The crutches were brought back to me because I remember at the time that this brother of mine, Mandla, was accompanying me. I was in possession of those crutches. I went to Durban with them.
It's both crutches.
Yeah.
Oh, two.
Yeah.
Both
Waphinde
crutches.
balanda futhi khona eThekwini. Waphinde alanda futhi khona eThekwini.
And they came and fetched them again from Durban now.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Sizofika lapho.
But then what happened on the day when you returned home, the Thursday?
Kwenzakalani-ke ngalolu suku-ke mase usubuyele ekhaya ngolesine?
Mangibuyele emuva angithi kunobhuti wami ukuthi usiya omdala nami. So mangisuka nge-taxi ngiya eDurban imari i-tollgate yokugcina iMarang Hill. So yena ngihlale Westmead mawula ku-tollgate ubuka lapha phesheya kunemizana ngisewestmead uhlala khona.
Now, there is a brother of mine called Sia. As I travel to Durban, the last toll gate is Marian Hill. And then when you look just alongside the Marian Hill toll gate, there is a suburb there, by Bizani?
Indawo kuthiwa iseMawos.
Mawos,
Yeah, iseWestmead.
in the vicinity of Westmead.
So ubhuti wami uhlala lapho.
That's where he resides.
So ngamfonela wathi angingaqhubeki nge-taxi angihlike khona lapho because unemoto.
Now, I phone called him and he said that I shouldn't go down to Durban with a taxi. I must just alight the taxi right there at that spot because he's got a vehicle.
Yes.
We were there at Marian Hill.
Yeah, mara nge-tollgate yeah. Mawuqhubeka nje kancane kunomgaqo ojikayo ungahlika mama lapho.
Yeah, right there at the Marian Hill toll gate. As you just proceed with that road, just a little from the toll gate, then there's a turn-off. And then I waited there, and they came to fetch me there from that spot.
Yes.
So mangihlika lapho wangithatha ke saya straight khona indawo i-ground lika-Eli kwakune-memorial service khona
Ground Elga?
L section.
L
Umlazi,
section.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Ngaqala khona nje first stop sami ngaqala khona.
Now, he came and he took me and we went to L section. There's a ground called the L section ground that is in Mlazi. That is where I started off.
Bekune memorial service khona.
There was a memorial service there, Census Memorial Service there.
Yes.
Then mangifika khona ngathola ukuthi abazali bakasenza bekho la.
When I got there, I found out that census parents are not there.
Yes.
Then ngakhuluma because kunabantu ababekhona nabo bangakusho lo ngafika ngakhuluma khona ke ngangithi ngizochaza vele into eyenzakalile kubona abazali basenza mangithola bengekho ngabatshela abantu abakhona ukuthi ngcono ngiyoqala ngibikele umndeni kuqala.
Then I spoke there with the people that had attended that memorial service, that I was going to relate to them about the incident as to what transpired back where I'm coming from. But when I realized that census parents were not there, I thought to myself, the best thing that I should do is to first go and relate that to the parents before I can tell everybody what transpired.
Just a minute. Yes, we may proceed.
Yeah, bungaqhubeka.
So mangifika kasenzo ngafica uma wakhe ehleli edining lapha kumatras wayehleli emakhandeleni.
Now, when I got to Census Parental Home, I found his mother. She was on the mattress, mourning. There were candles next to her there. In the dining, that's where she was seated.
Yes.
Ngamchazela kuma kasenzo yonke into because kwakunabanye abantu nanehlobo ngamchazela ke yonke into eyenzakalile.
I then explained to a census mother about everything that transpired. Because there were also people that were there, there were relatives that were also there. I then explained to her.
Because ngikhumbula kahle nje into yokuqala ngibuzana wangibuza ukuthi samba kanjani ngemoto yengane yakhe ingane yakhe ingasekho.
Because I remember the first thing that she actually asked me was, how is it possible that we drive or we travel on his child's vehicle when his child is no more?
Yes.
I mean, her child is
So
no more.
ngamphendula ke mina ngamtshela ukuthi anginawo ama powers mina ukukhuza leyo nto because amaphoyisa amtshela ukheli ukuthi akhanjwe ngale moto wa insist athi imoto yobaba ngane yakhe le ngikatshela umuntu ungani. So
Now, I told her that I did not have the authority to can correct that. Even the police tried to interject and say that a different vehicle should be used. And then Kelly insisted that this is the vehicle that belongs to the father of her child.
Yes.
then ngabachazela ke yonke into eyenzakala.
I explained to them everything that transpired.
Na ngengeni kwamanye ama details nje wonke but ngabachazela lo ngachazela kona then ngabuya ngayikwa imangiqala ngaye endlini kwa imangigcina endlini kimi ekhaya.
I cannot go to all the details as to how I related everything to them. Thereafter, I went home.
Yes.
Kwafika ngikhumbula ukuthi the following day kwafika lo mfowethu uthiwa uSiya I think uyicousin yaka Senzo.
Now, I remember the following day, a brother of mine called Sia came. I think he is Senzo's cousin. I think he is Senzo's cousin.
Yes.
Uyena umuntu wangi-offerisha ibhande lelokungena Moses Mabhida la ungena ngalo kuma-suit.
Now, this is the very person that then offered me a wristband of some sort to access Moses Mabhida Stadium at the particular suit, the Moses Mabhida Stadium.
What was happening at Moses Mabhida Stadium?
Bekwenzakalani khona laphayana eMoses Mabhida?
I think bekuzoba umncwabo wakho senze kwakuzoba umncwabo wakho senze I think uzosukela khona eMoses Mabhida.
I think the funeral service was going to be held at Moses Mabhida Stadium.
Yes. What happened further?
Saya ke no Siya because samba ngemoto.
Me and Siya then went.
Imoto ayisebenzisa le day.
Me and Siya went, and we're traveling using the vehicle that Siya was using on that day.
Yes, you went away.
Naya kuphi?
Saya Moses Mabhida.
We went to Moses Mabhida.
Yes.
Thereafter saya emathuneni but azange see exactly like bekhona umgodi because kwakugcwele saphelela nje lapha phansi lapha eChesterville.
From there we proceeded to the graveyard, even though we couldn't access the graveyard or perhaps the grave itself because it was crowded. We couldn't access that particular spot. Nithi naphelela kuphi?
Saphelela kunemigaqo sezantsi nje mama lapha because kwakunemoto ebhakele lapha.
In Chesterfield?
eChesterville, yes.
We ended at Chesterfield. There's just a street in the vicinity there that we parked at.
Yes.
Then emva kwesikhashanyana nje uSiya wathi ayi asihambeni ngiyokubeka endlini mfethu because kugcwele ngesikwazi ukufikela lapha ya. Wahamba uSiya wadrive wangibeka endlini.
After a while, then Siya said that let's go. Let me go drop you off at home, because in any case we won't be able to access the desired spot. You can see how crowded it is. Let's rather than go, and then we drove off.
Yes. And on which day was the funeral service of the deceased?
Bekunini ngaluphi usuku?
Umncwabo or memorial service.
Umncwabo.
No, I think Saturday.
It was on a Saturday.
Yes, you may proceed.
Singaqhubeka.
Then sabuyela eMumba ke no Siya ne wafika wangishiya ekhaya.
Me and Siya went back, and then he dropped me off at home.
Yes.
Ukuthi baningi abantu abafikile kumina bengibhalisa statement. Baningi kakhulu abanye bebengilanda ngisho emsebenzini.
There's so many people. There's numerous people that came to me that I should furnish my statement to. Others would even come to me at my place of work.
Now, you earlier on in your evidence testified that the police did come to collect your crutches. Can you tell the court about it?
Amaphoyisa eza afike azothatha ama-crushes wakho.
Yeah, afika amaphoyisa I think after a month manganali put after a month kwenzeke lento.
But the police did arrive. I should think, if I'm not mistaken, it was after a month after the incident transpired.
I think November if anginali put akulo November.
I think it was in November, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, which year?
Now 2014.
2014.
So what transpired during that occasion?
Kwenzakalani ke khona lapho?
Bafika bazowalanda bangisayinisa ngisho ukuthi angisakhumbuli ama date exactly. Baphinde bawabuyisa futhi bangisayinisa sebewabuyisa futhi bangisayinisa futhi.
They came to fetch the crutches and they made me sign some document, And even upon the return, as they are bringing back the crutches, they caused me to sign the document again. I'm uncertain about the dates though, or the time.
nginawo kodwa I think akhona amaphepha lento ngisazobatshela bangicheckele kahle I think akhona amaphepha lento because ngawabeka.
I think the documents relating to that are still there because I asked them to, keep them for me.
Did the police explain as to why they needed your crutches?
Ngabe amaphoyisa akakusela ukuthi ingani bebefuna ama-crutches wakho?
Ayi abangikhumbuli bangicacisela yi.
I do not remember them explaining to me as to why they needed them.
But after how long did they return the crutches?
Base babuyisa emva kwesikhathi esingakanani ama-crutches?
Ayi khona kubanga isikhathi eside kakhulu ayi. Akubanga isikhathi eside noma ngisisho exactly isikhathi but akubanga isikhathi eside kakhulu.
It wasn't after a long time, even though I may not be particular about the time, but it wasn't after a very long time.
Yes, you say you made various statements. What happened further?
Ke wenza ama-statement amaningi nje kwenzakalani emva kwalokho?
Eish kuningi because abanye abantu angisabakhumbuli. Bakhona licala nje baningi abantu befika bethathe bengifikele emsebenzini abanye bangithathe siye ko point kuhlalwe nami abanye befika nozankosi kuningi nje.
There's just a lot that transpired after that. Others would come at my place of work and others would just come with the handcuffs. There's quite a lot that happened.
Ekugcineni kwagcina kufike omunye wathi ubuthelezi ompofu nje egundini bomncane.
In the end, there was one called Butelezi, lighter in complexion.
Hayi egundini bomncane.
Yeah, no, who had a bald head.
Was the male, female?
Umuntu
No,
wesifazane.
wesifazane.
It was a female being.
Because nami ngimthatha njengomama nje. Ngimbiza ngomama nje.
I just took her as a mother. I would call her mother.
When did she make contact with you?
Weza-ke ezoyixhumanisa nawe nini?
2019 if I'm not mistaken but angisakhumbula ama-date because bengimtshela yonke into eyenzakalayo.
I should think it was in 2019. I could
even
relate to her about everything that was happening.
even ubaba kasenze efika ethuka uma ngane amangithatha ngaleso sikhathi ngamtshela yena lobuthelezi lo.
Ubaba kaSenzo efika enze
ethuka uma wengane yami.
Even when Senzo's father came and insulted a mother of my child, I did relate that to this Butelezi lady.
Yes, let's confine ourselves to Ms. What happened in your interactions with her?
Ake sihlale lapho ku Lobunjani uma Butelezi.
Wasuggest ukuthi ngiye kwilento ye-witness protection program.
She suggested that I should be a part of the witness protection program.
Did she tell you as to why she was now in the picture?
Uye watshela ukuthi ingane sekusho lokho.
I think mhlawumbe emva kokuthi ngimbikele zonke lezi zinto ezenzakalayo. Yabo. But mina angafuni ukuya lapho but uyobeke insist ukuthi ngiye kuleyo lokho ngoba ngihlala ngedwe ekhaya.
I should think that was
Noma
after
ngani.
I should think that was after I had related to her all these things that were happening. And I said that I do not want to be a part of the witness protection program. And she insisted that I should be a part of the witness program, witness protection program. And because I'm staying alone at home.
Yes, you may proceed.
Ungaqhubeka?
Ngagcina ngiyileke kuleyo witness ban program. Wathi angicabanga ngithi ngise Cape Town.
I eventually became part of the witness protection program, and she said that I should concoct a lie and say that I am in Cape Town
While things say Richards Bay.
whilst I was in Richards Bay.
Just a minute. Yes.
Angangena kuleyo witness protection program kunebhunela li okwakuyilona lisebenza ukuthi lingilande lingise because besijwayele ukuhlanganela kunelinye ihotel bathi Pavilion Hotel eSetown.
Now, I became a part of that witness protection program, and there is one white person who used to transport me from wherever I was to the spot that is at Pavilion Hotel.
Yeah, la ngihlangana khona naye.
That is where I would be meeting with him at,
With her.
or with her, sorry, with her at.
Yes.
Ayiziningi nje izinto ayengithembise zona because ngamtshela ukuthi nginomntwana mina mangihlala la umntwana uzofunda phi wathi ongithembisa yonke leyo nto leyo.
There are so many things that she promised to me, because I did divulge to her that I've got a child, and if I am residing here, where is the child going to be residing? Wasethi.
Wathi hayi uzotholela isikole everything.
And she said that they will find a school for the child and all those things that are a necessity to a child.
Yes.
So ngihlalileke lapho but ngahlala isikhashana nje sincane. Ayi ngayibuka lento ukuthi hayi lento lo muntu bengithembisa yona nanana yenzakala.
I stayed there for a short while, and I could realize that whatever it is that she had pledged or promised me, it wasn't materializing.
For how long were you in the witness protection program?
Waba lapho witness protection program isikhathi esingakanani?
I think for 3 weeks, finally 3 weeks, yeah. I think for 3 weeks, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, about 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yes.
Then ngabuya ngaphuma ke kuyo kwafika the same bhunu futhi lizongisayinisa ukuthi if ngiphuma la if kwenzekala noma yini kumina bona basahlangene naleyo nto.
I then exited that program, and the same white person came to me. He caused me to sign the documents, which will then be the documents that will be indemnifying them against any undesirable incident that might happen in their absentia.
Yes.
Because bangangibuka ngisakwazi ngisho ukukhuluma nabantu engizwana nabo because kwakumele ukuthi ngifonela ngani washintsha ngisho amaslimi kwakumele ngifonelane fonela uma kuphela ngingafonela abanye abantu nje abaseceleni.
Then there was also that arrangement to the extent that I couldn't even phone call people that I knew. Even if I had to phone call my mother, I had to set to change the SIMs before I could phone call them.
I think bangingenye SIM card if nginale futhi kufanele ngisebenzise if ngifona iningaziwa umuntu.
I think they gave me a SIM card that was unknown to any person, so that if I want to phone call any person that I would wish to phone call, I should use that SIM card.
As a quick case, will this be an appropriate time to take the long adjournment?